Mission to the Unknown is gonna be a difficult story to tackle because it's just so short and there isn't a whole lot to it, but I think there's enough to make a video out of it. So just to explain the background of this episode, in case you don't know, this is a one-part story that serves as a lead into the 12-part story, the Daleks Master Plan. And sadly, this is another episode where the footage is lost, so I am reviewing it solely on the audio alone. And I am aware that at the time of recording this, there are like some university students working on remaking the episode, but I'm not concerned with that at all. I'm going to be reviewing this episode, the lost episode, the audio for that episode. And if that ever comes out, and I'm sure I'll see it, and I might even talk about it, but that's not going to be, I'm not going to review that. I'm going to be reviewing this lost Mission to the Unknown episode, just so you know where I'm at and we're not confused at all. So anyway, as you might be aware, this episode is unique in that we do not focus on any of our main characters. We focus on a couple of guys on some planet whose names are Garvey, Corey, and Lowry. And full disclosure, I did have to look those names up. The only name that I correctly remembered was Corey, and I could even be pronouncing that wrong because at the time of recording this video, it's been a while since I've written this script out, so I don't remember how these names are pronounced. I haven't seen the episode in a while. I'm just reading my script from what I wrote about this episode. So if I pronounce those names wrong, I apologize. That's just how it's going to be. So for an episode that has to survive entirely on supporting cast, I think this one does a really good job. Sure, I only remembered one name, but I was invested while I was watching it, and they managed to carry the episode pretty well. So I actually did a little bit of research on this episode because I wanted to find some things that I could add to this video that would be interesting and that were worthy of noting. So I'm just going to read a quote here. So apparently, and I quote, "The episode came about because Verity Lambert wanted to give the cast regulars an extra week's holiday between the second and third production blocks, extending their break from 5 weeks to 6, and so it was decided to make the episode a one-off story introducing elements of the forthcoming story without including any of the regular actors." So, end quote. This makes sense to me. Giving the actors another week off from such a grueling schedule, and also I read that the episode was made because Planet of the Giants was shortened by one episode, which is interesting at the very least, although that was a whole season ago, so I wonder why that wasn't fixed back in season 2, but who knows. But probably the most important thing to note about this episode is that this was the last episode that Verity Lambert produced. Obviously, she was a big part of the show behind the screen, so it's going to be interesting to see how things change without her. I'm going to try to keep track of when producers come in and leave because it's pretty important, and from my understanding, it tends to be how people keep track of Classic Who, and in the same way that we keep track of the showrunners nowadays, like Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat in New Who. But maybe I should also be keeping track of the script editors too. I'm not so sure about that, but I don't think I'm going to bother just because those seem to change a lot more often. So yeah, please let me know what you think in terms of script editors and in terms of Verity Lambert or producers and when they leave and stuff and how important it is. Tell me what your perspective is on that. I'd like to hear that because I only have what I've come to learn. So anyway, moving on, I'd love to be able to talk about this one spoiler free, but there's some stuff in this episode that I definitely can't justify as a spoiler free thing to say, and I just want to mention it, and it's a little hard to figure out where exactly to draw that line, so unfortunately I'm already going to have to be getting into spoilers, and if you want to avoid those, then you're going to have to skip to the point in the video that is shown on the screen right now, and I'll give you just a little bit of time to do that. And if you have not left or skipped to that point in the time, then we are going to get into spoilers now. So, let's begin. This is a lead into the Daleks Master Plan, and we find out that their plan is, well, basically just to rule the galaxy or whatever. I mean, it's a little bit generic, but I'm sure I'll be able to roll with it, although I am very interested in how they're going to spend 12 episodes telling that story. I don't know how that will be handled, but hopefully it'll be handled well. Also, I once again wonder how this would have played out with the footage, because through audio only, then the way they describe the Varga transformation is honestly kind of creepy, and while I doubt it would have played out the same with footage, it's really hard to say because I simply can't and don't know. Also, this story is kind of dark. I mean, we meet some new protagonists and they all die, just like that, very unceremoniously. They're just here and then they aren't. Yeah, this show isn't messing around. I think that's all the spoilers that I have to say. So yeah, let's wrap that up. Overall, this story impressed me. it managed to maintain my interest and be more brutal than I was expecting. I really wasn't bored whatsoever despite the lack of our main characters, and thanks to the shortened runtime, I suspect. This story is succinct yet successful. I enjoyed it a good amount. Mission to the Unknown earns a solid rating of 8.25 out of 10. If you join me again this coming Sunday, then I will be reviewing The Mythmakers, and I have yet to see that one, but I will be doing so shortly. So be sure to let me know what you thought about this episode down below. I hope to see you again next Sunday when I give you my thoughts on The Mythmakers. So thanks for watching, take care, and have a lovely week.